All right, and hopefully I actually updated the episode number. So if not, I'll be fixing that later. Assuming I did update it, this is session 6 of our game here. Thank you everybody for joining me. So as always, we're gonna start with the same question. Does anybody remember what happened last time?
There was a big dragon.
We went inside the mountain dragon, and there's the dragon of darkness we're looking for, and we just found him.
Okay, you
And
remember
there was
like, the
snot
last
and
15
stuff.
minutes of what happened. Does anybody remember?
Well, we also
the
fought things
entire
on
game?
his flank.
Okay, so the entire
Well,
game
that was the
is
previous game.
we picked up from killing the Oni.
Uh-huh.
And so Kawa comforted the young lady that we saved.
Does anyone
And
remember?
Make sure all of her body parts are working.
Made sure all her body parts were working.
Oh.
Yep, every
No,
single
I
one
don't
of them.
remember her name.
Nobody remembers her name?
No.
Her name is Megane. It means glasses in Japanese.
Right.
Okay.
And
Go
we
on.
found out that the Oni were mining out of this poor dragon's butt.
Which
And
would
we're
explain
making
things.
holes in his ass. And that pouring a health potion on it would not really help.
Yeah, not really.
So we went up and we reported to the dragon, and he sneezed out a book and a gem, and Kawa caught the gem,
Mm-hmm.
and there was much snot, and I saved glasses.
You missed the book.
I caught the gem.
No, I was
You
telling
guys didn't
I
catch
wa-
anything.
Holy mackerel! I just threw in a missing tidbit of the story, and there's just suddenly, like, defense.
I missed the book. No, I caught the gem. You guys missed the book and got covered in snot. See, I was good. Not only did I catch the gem, I saved glasses from the snot. You just stood there and was like, look, take lots of snot. He's turning red. It's so cute. And then we went inside his cheek pouch
Yep.
and explored stuff. And we didn't take anything because it was his. And
Not quite. You did take one thing.
You took
Remember a
that
certain
the gem.
gem.
glowing crystal?
it's in my pocket. Ha ha.
Yep, so you did take something.
That's true.
Right, I forgot that completely.
Well, we had to get the doors open.
Well, no. You only had to get out of that room. The only thing that
Well,
taking
you
that
didn't even have to
crystal-
do it to get out of that room.
Well, yeah.
I thought I
but-
had unlocked the doors. I'm so confused. I thought that unlocked the doors.
No. When you took the crystal, the door out of that little room closed. When you put it back, it opened again. So what you did is Megane helped you get the crystal out with you still on the outside so that you weren't locked in.
Because she used a spell.
Done.
And we also found a totally pointless little outside area.
Ah,
Is it
but
pointless,
Was it
though?
pointless?
Tinfoil.
It was pointless in last game session.
Okay, yes, fair enough.
To be fair, I remembered most of this. I just didn't go into.
And there was a room for a human, but there was no human living there.
If you're looking for more detail, I can do that now.
Well, the point
Yeah,
of the
Wayne even asked the little crystal thing if there was humans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the point of the overview is just to make sure everyone remembers what happened. So things like Rebecca forgot she took the green crystal, that sort of thing.
No, I remembered I took it. I just thought it was a key, which I was supposed to have.
Nope. You just stole his green crystal.
Nice.
Thief! Baggins!
All right, and then in typical Akai Hebi fashion, Akai Hebi walked into the room with the dragon and went, "Hi, are you a dragon?" Now, to be
And that's
fair,
who
it was
the
more
dragon
of, "Hi, are you the shadow dragon?" But still. And so So,
Well, I assume that there are dragon lords and there are just general dragons. So
yep,
it could just be a dragon.
it could be.
Because he also seems to be the smallest dragon we've met. So
Really?
No, he seems to be about the same size as the water
Really?
dragon.
really?
If
Well, the
anything-
mountain dragon is huge.
Yeah.
Huge.
The
So,
river dragon's about the same size as this guy.
or except when he's in human form, in which case he's smaller.
Okay. Okay.
Yep.
For some reason, I thought he was bigger than the dark. So that was part of the reason why I was asking, because I wasn't 100% sure if he was a lord or just a dragon.
Well, maybe you'll find out when he answers you. So you walk into the room. As described last time, there are a few dim lights around the edges of the room, but as they strike his body, the light seems to just be absorbed into nothingness. And as you speak, the dragon's head kind of slowly twists around and looks at you, and it lets out a snort of dark vapors that float in wispy currents away from its nostrils. And he then says, in response to your question, "Are you the nosy humans who've been making noise in my house?"
I suppose so, yes. Sorry for the inconvenience, but we were looking for you. And it's kind of a big house.
You took a rather circuitous route, didn't you? I believe you've rummaged through every room in my entire den before you came and saw me.
In all fairness, I think this was the last door we tried.
This is literally the last door that you tried.
Well,
Yeah,
isn't
with
it funny
terrible
how
sense of
things are
direction.
always in the last place you look?
We found every other room before we found this one.
Yep. Well, at least you haven't taken too many of my things, he says as he sends like a steely glance back in Kawa's direction.
Kawa ignores it.
I suppose you're here for your heart then?
Yes, that would definitely be true.
I'm entirely certain you need such a squishy and inconvenient thing as a heart. It seems that it ought to.
Well, so far it hasn't been much of a detriment, save that I appear to be a little less, how do you say, sympathetic?
Yes, well, it seems maybe you're perhaps actually better off without it. Why don't we just part ways here, and neither of us needs to inconvenience ourselves? And he says this with a wicked-looking, toothy grin.
I think I'd rather take it with me if it's all the same.
Well, if you're determined, I can't stop you. I do have my orders from Amaterasu, and one doesn't simply upset a god without reason. But, obviously, you're not going to get it for nothing.
What do you have in mind?
Well, what think ye of this? And he kind of takes a deep breath and seems to be repeating something he's actually practiced repeatedly. He says, "Two hearts together, yet rift in twain. How can they ever be together again? One only comes under the bright moonlight, yet the other hides from his sight. Two lovers forced apart, yet drawn to one another. Who can break this curse and unite them as two lovers?"
Riddles
I
are...
feel like someone should probably write that down so we can actually like remember it. Because I've already forgotten the beginning.
Yeah.
I think Thomas should copy paste it into the chat.
Okay. We'll go with
Since-
that.
I'm sure you have it written down on your computer already.
Who's to say I didn't just memorize it because I'm cool like that?
Well, I think you memorized something that's written down on your computer.
No, I literally read that off. Here we go. Burb. Be quiet. I had this open on the on my other computer instead of the one that I need to paste it from. So
That's what you get for having two computers. Thank you.
So, to repeat it, the riddle was, two hearts together yet rift in twain, how can they ever be together again? One only comes under the bright moonlight, yet the other hides from his sight. Two lovers forced apart, yet drawn to one another. Who can break this curse and unite them as two lovers?
Well, I'm gonna guess it has something to do with the tunnel we found and the glade with the moonlight.
Do you actually say
Well,
that
it was
out loud?
daylight, but
Do you say that out loud?
sure.
Okay.
No, we're talking telekinetically.
Telekinetically.
Rebecca might be able to, but I guarantee the two of you can't. So when Kawa says that, the dragon actually does smile wryly and put one claw up against his nose and taps it 3 times.
So it has something to do.
Assuming that means that we're on the right track.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it means on the nose. Like, got it. Think about an old man doing that, Anna.
I know. I was just saying.
Well, I'm sure you'll figure it out, being all wise and capable heroes such as you must be. Solve the riddle. Bring an end to this problem, and I shall return the piece of your heart to you.
Alright, I vote we reconvene in the main room.
1 second, my Google just randomly started playing country music for no reason. Let me turn that off real quick.
What have you been listening to, Thomas?
Depressing breakup songs?
Okay, so
maybe
I have
your
no
home-
idea where Google got that from, but it is no longer playing music, so we can resume. So, are you just gonna?
We're gonna go to the other room.
Okay.
No,
No, Kawa said I vote we reconvene in the main room.
Okay.
Oh, I concur.
Good.
And then we go to the main room.
Alright.
I just smash things.
You're in the room with the dragon. He eats you. You're dead.
No, we're going to the main room. The big. Where did I go?
I killed you.
You've been eaten
No!
by a dragon!
Why?
started
I was
smashing
following
things.
people.
Excuse
No,
me.
I didn't. All I said was all I do is smash things. I'm saying I am stupid. I don't ask me anything.
Don't make me
If you need something
Don't make me
smashed,
do it!
if you need something smashed, let me know. I think it's a
right.
magnet.
So we found a room
It's
for
always
a
magnets with
person.
you.
We found a room for a person.
That is a true statement. I
Do you
agree.
think that has something to do with the riddle?
I think it has something to do with the riddle. So I think we should follow the tunnel out and wait until night and see if somebody shows up. And then when we do, we hog-tie them and bring them in.
Wow.
Meganay says, well, the riddle did mention the moon, so does anyone know what phase of the moon is tonight?
That is a thing my character would know.
Would you, though? I mean, I guess you would. As a ninja, you would need to know how bright it was going to be that night, so you knew whether or not you were even going to need
Well, and also, given the way I grew up, I'm sure that's
Living out in the woods and everything.
something that I keep track of is more moon cycle than months.
Okay.
You know.
Also, that's something we'd probably know from a survival check too, right? If we needed to.
Yes.
Probably.
So, do you answer immediately, or are you gonna wait before you answer, Kawa?
Kawa probably would just blurt it out, but since I don't know what the moon cycle is in the game, that's why I said that's something my character knows.
Okay. So she asks that, and then she starts pulling out a scroll, but then you blurt it out as the scroll is like halfway out of her backpack, and she like stops and drops it, and then like starts scooping it up and goes, "Yeah, yes, great, you do it already." And so. So it's actually basically no moon right now. It's just about like a quarter moon, and it is currently waning.
Damn it. Well, it sounds like we need to go find another dragon for like 2 months, like a month. Not quite a month, but I guess half a month. Plus a bit.
I think maybe before we leave, you should put that green crystal. It seemed to bother them.
Door's closed now.
Yeah, so
Mine.
So Megadate points out the same thing. She's like, yeah, that might be difficult. The door is closed.
Touché. Japanese guy says in French.
All right. Well, you're supposed to be looking at the riddle, trying to figure it out, because you're the brains of this here operation.
Well, for someone who's the brains of the operation in the game, I don't got no brains in real life. So.
Oh gosh. I don't have my glasses on. I have to get 6 inches away from the computer
Do an
screen.
intelligence check for some more ideas, like I did in our last game.
Sure, roll intelligence.
So maybe we should look for an invisibility spell dispeller.
An invisibility spell dispeller?
Yeah, because somebody's hiding. That's all I know.
I rolled a 6, and I've got a 9.
Okay. What did you want to know? Just like more leads on the riddle?
Yes. Basically, does my character who is smarter than me figure out something that I'm not figuring out because I'm dumber than my character?
Okay, sure. It sounds like there's a problem of 2 star-crossed lovers. And then based off of the line where it says one only comes under the bright moonlight, it sounds like one of them only comes out when there's a lot of moonlight, and the other hides from his sight. You're assuming that his is the moon, because in the mythology, the moon is actually not a person, but a character of its own. It's not just a giant chunk of stone in the sky.
So the one that's hiding is the dark dragon.
It sounds like...
So if we come at a full moon, we'll find the white dragon.
It's like Kubo.
Yes, so it sounds like...
The moon is that old man.
So it sounds like there's a pair of lovers, and one of them only comes out during the moon, the other one hides from the moon, and this is keeping them from being together, and that needs to be resolved in some manner.
Okay.
We could probably find the one that doesn't hide from the moon right now.
We should blind the darkness dragon so it's always dark.
Just rip his eyeballs out. That definitely won't start the dragon war like in Final Fantasy XIV.
So it sounds to me like maybe we should actually come back when the moon is full. So maybe we should go after another dragon.
Or we could just go camp out in the thing for like a month. Okay, half a month.
Yeah, about half a
2
month.
weeks. A fortnight.
So if we do go camp out for 2 weeks, would we just skip ahead 2 weeks, or would we role play living out there for?
We all starve to death.
The answer is some of both.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like we would sit here for the next 2 weeks and be like, so I sat down and stared at the clouds for an hour. But at the same time, I mean, something certainly would happen, character development-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I sat down and stared at the sun for an hour.
Oh gosh.
You were now blind permanently.
That might be a solution for the shadow dragon.
Make the Lord of Darkness stare at the sun.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking that it was the two lovers thing, and like more or less what you said made sense to me. But initially, I was also kind of wondering if it had something to do with the sun and the moon. So they're both typically considered to be like.
Of course, the light dragon is sit under the waterfall, so it's not another dragon.
It's not the light dragon problem.
What if it's not the dark dragon at all? Like it could be two people. It doesn't necessarily
hides from the light of the moon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the dark dragon, well, yeah, I guess, never mind. That was stupid.
A reverse
See what I mean about being less intelligence in my character?
Yep. I'm just saying, I don't know, but I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Well, what were you saying about the invisibility?
That I was wrong?
I still think we should look for the one that doesn't hide from the moon.
I agree. So let's go camp out. Walkie, 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 walkie.
I don't know this camp out, though. I kind of think maybe we should go do another dragon search.
Put yourself back. Thank you.
I was walking out!
What the heck? Let's go camp out for 2 weeks.
Thank you, because I don't want to have to go through the whole sneezy in the mouth thing again.
You can now walk, Rebecca, if you want to. Okay,
Thank you!
So you're heading to the lake, then, the one that you were at before?
Yep.
It was so bright. Oh my god, there's a scary person in the water.
I just yelled.
Is there, though? Is there?
It's the lady. I threw my sword in the
just
water.
came in my room.
I threw my sword right there.
Okay, the water goes bloop, and your sword disappears under the water.
I didn't actually do that. I was being sarcastic.
Wait, where are we?
Wait, where are we?
We went out into that clearing.
Anna, you're in the water. Anna, you're in the
water.
water.
Get out of the water! You're not swimming!
But I can't see anything! It's just white!
I can see.
It's white?
I can see.
It was white for me for a second.
All I see is white.
Too, but now it's got stuff on it for me.
I see green and blue and darkness.
That's why I yelled, it's bright when we came out here, because everything was just a white flash for like 2 seconds.
Black.
Black.
What now? Did that fix it, Anna?
White.
Green and blue. Anna's character is blinded, and I tether her to myself. Not really.
I
can't even see anybody else.
D20 round.
Then you're not loading in.
How's that?
To the map.
Still white.
Well, then try refreshing the page.
Anna's problem is loading. Everybody else doesn't want to be Anna.
You guys
Because Anna's the only one that can't see where it's at.
You guys are camping out in front of the lake. Your servants set out tents and all of the normal stuff. One of the hunchback servant comes up to you, Akai Heavy, and says, Master, I hope this isn't terribly presumptuous, but perhaps you would appreciate having your various garments washed and perhaps taking a bath yourself, considering you haven't since the beginning of our journey.
That is very presumptuous. Are you saying I stink?
No, of course not, Ryokuma. You have that brawny man smell that brings the boys to the yard.
Oh, so that's the way he
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Okay.
Wow. But Akai, perhaps
Was that fish a boy or a girl?
perhaps Akai,
We may never know.
as a noble personage such as yourself, you might perhaps appreciate this chance at a bit of personal cleanliness.
How close is Akai Heavy to the water? I mean,
That close.
Koryokuma. Sorry.
Oh, that close.
Can I try to sneak up and push them into the water?
So unless Kuryokuma took his boots off, the answer is no on him.
Can I?
Akai Heavy, the answer is yes.
Well, I was going to just go with it and get in the water because it sounds like a good idea to me. So I'm getting into.
It's daytime right now, so let me turn the lights on real quick.
Actually, what? So I assume that in our culture, it would not just be all right for me to strip down naked in front of two women.
Dagnabbit, I was going to watch.
Actually, no, that probably would be more or less fine. Communal bathing is
Women
pretty
can't
common
be
in
naked,
Japan.
but.
Oh no,
Okay,
there's
well-
plenty of unisex.
I know, I was
bathing.
teasing.
I start having one of the servants help me get my samurai attire off,
Okay.
and then I'm going to jump in the water.
Yeah. So as you take it off, it's like the armor is actually attached with.
Kala suddenly appears.
The armor is actually attached to your body in certain places with spikes. Part of why this armor is awesome, and when you take it off, they detach out of your body, and you feel, some of that artificial strength that it provides you, leaving you. And then as it is piled up in a corner, you could swear you see in the helmet just this slight red glint. And you hear, maybe, could be your imagination, but you think you might hear a hoarse whisper saying, "You'll be back."
Congratulations, you have cursed armor.
What the fuck? No, I don't actually say that. That was me reacting in real life. I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. Sorry, audience. Okay, so that happened. I'm going to just kind of shrug it off and pretend like it was just my imagination. I let my servant take the suit of armor away. Do you actually appear?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's
Oh yeah.
She's sitting with her knees pulled up in front of her and her hands on her, like her face in her hands, just kind of watching you.
I just
This is not terribly uncommon.
I stand there in front of you, completely naked,
Handle it.
and I'm pointing at you just a little bit, and
your
I
finger,
no, and my arms are crossed, and I say, "What do you think you're doing?"
Making sure you're safe while you bathe.
Megan A scoots closer.
She's here because I'm making sure she's safe while you bathe.
How hung am I?
How about you roll a d20 and we'll see.
Just a D20, no modifiers?
Yep, just on a scale of 1 to 20. Or I guess you would add what? Oh, charisma. So I guess roll a d6 plus charisma. So just give me a charisma check. That would actually be much more reasonable. So with a roll of 3, average, slightly above average, we'll say.
I can live with that.
Now, Kuryokuma, are you refusing to bathe, I would assume?
Yeah.
I mean, it isn't
exactly.
a lake. It's not like you have to sit in a sissy pot of hot water and, bathe. You can just run around in the mud like you normally do back in the forest.
Okay, that's true. I'm gonna, strip down and just, flex my awesome muscles and show off how awesome I am. Okay. Totally, not to make, Wayne's... Kai Heavy jealous or anything,
Oh yes, no. Not at all the point.
So now Anna has to roll charisma and see how hung he is.
Well, in her case,
my charisma
hers
sucks.
Would be more like a fortitude check or something, because hers isn't based on how she looks. Because she's not a handsome dude. Ryokuma's not handsome. But he is built.
Well, Anna still has to roll and see how hung he is.
Okay,
so his glasses decide he's more interesting.
So fortitude, right? So I just roll a d6 plus my fortitude bonus.
Are you saying your character might lose interest in me based on dick size?
No, glasses.
Oh, glasses.
No. So it would be a d20 plus your fort save.
Okay, d20 plus.
Or I guess since we want to compare them, go ahead and do a d6 plus your fort save, just so that we can compare them together.
Okay.
The bear should bathe. Just saying, it smells like
bear shit.
A bear that's been sweating in a pocket for 2 weeks.
Yep, pocket bears, get yours today.
After Kawa says her bit about keeping me safe and everything, I kind of shrug, and then I'm going to roll a perception before I just jump in the water.
Anna got a 14. I mean a 16.
I'm checking to see if there's anything that looks dangerous in the lake in my immediate vicinity.
Not really. It appears to be relatively clean and pretty nice. There's some fish swimming around, some frogs, and a few other things, but nothing that looks like it's probably gonna jump out and make you jump off while you're swimming.
Cool. So I walk out until the water is deep enough, and then dive in.
Okay. So as Kuryokuma undresses, his cadre of animal friends are just immediately like, "Oh, Kuryokuma, you're so awesome! I wish I had muscles like you." Yeah, you're amazing! Keep flexing those muscles, you're so impressive! Yeah. Megan's not terribly interested. She's gonna keep watching a Kai Heavy.
Dang it.
That's okay. The animals are all I care about.
Bear's just like, "Oh, I'd totally suck your dick."
Oh my gosh!
Okay, so
you remove it. You have a bear on it.
The bear was
Anyway, so Kai Heavy, you dive into the water. It is cool and refreshing, exactly the way it looked like it would be.
Yay! I'm just gonna be swimming. Like, I'm not so much actively cleaning as actively swimming.
Meanwhile, your hunchback servant is kind of sitting off in the corner around here somewhere with a washboard, scrubbing, 3 to 4 weeks worth of journey stains out of your underpants.
That's journey stains. Let's go with that. I'm not shitting your pants at all.
Are you the shadow dragon? Anyway.
What did you even say?
Are you the shadow dragon?
It's all like, It's all like plain giant centipede. Ha! Killing the thingies with everybody on the mountain dragon's bum.
Uh-huh.
Ah! Meeting the darkness dragon. Darkness dragon says a riddle.
There you go. So the the bear is going to swim. I don't know about you, Kiryokuma, if you're going to actually stop flexing your muscles long enough to swim.
Probably. Eventually.
So,
after Kuro gets in the water, I look over in the direction of Kawa and Megane and say, "Well, are you ladies going to join us? The water is fine today."
Megane looks to Kawa for guidance.
Kawa looks at
Kawa's
Megane
already
like,
stripping.
Oh, well then Megane will also start stripping.
so now you need to know what the girls look like.
Yep.
Athletic and busty. I'm athletic, she's busty.
Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Megane does seem to be a bit younger than Kawa, and where Kawa is extremely lithe and athletic, Megane is kind of soft, almost doughy. So she kind of covers her breasts with one of her arms and wades into the water.
Kawa knows no shame. You found her naked, and thus shall she be.
Unsurprising.
Well, I'm going to let's see what would be.
Depends. What are you trying to do?
I was going to try and see what we would need to roll to see if she notices, if Kawa notices, if I am looking at her breasts or not, because they're not covered.
Then that would be if you're trying to be sneaky, it would be perception versus bluff, which the answer is Kawa notices because she has, what is it? Something like plus 20. No, that was stealth that you had like a plus 26 to. Still, Kawa has a really high perception, and I don't think your bluff is good. Yeah.
Well, I rolled a 3.
You're literally drooling. Like your jaw is hanging
You
open.
look like an old man and you need a beard, like a bib.
Yeah, your jaw is hanging open and your eyes are bugging slightly out of your face, and you're literally muttering. You think to yourself, but very, very much audibly to everyone near the lake. You're muttering, "My breast friends."
As soon as I catch myself doing this, I turn red and go back under the water, like flounder away.
Yeah, yeah. The shame runs deep.
What is Kawa's reaction? Giggling?
Yeah, Rebecca's reaction was Kawa's
Yeah,
reaction.
pretty much. You're so cute, but you can't hear that because you're under the water.
Are you gonna dive under the water and sneak attack him? I bet your swim is a lot higher than his.
I
go for his butt! Sure.
Okay, that's a thing that you do. Your swim is definitely better than his.
Oh, well, I should probably mark on my sheet that I'm not wearing my armor before I do any swim check.
Yeah, that will make a significant difference.
Nah, he still just sinks right to the bottom.
Hey, I gained 5 points on swimming.
Yep, that's the difference from the armor check penalty. But you also probably lost a lot to your AC.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, you guys have finally reached the point in the series where there is the obligatory beach episode with everyone wearing little to no clothing and, you know, romping about in the water. And so this goes on for a little while before you return to land, breathless but in good spirits. Does anyone want to establish anything in particular that happened during that period of time?
Once the servants have finished cleaning my armor, I was thinking about offering to take care of their stuff while they go swimming.
That would not be something you would normally do.
No.
They usually take care of each other.
That would be very awkward if you ask that. Also, when you go back to get your armor, the servant who is cleaning it looks like ghostly pale and is like shivering as he hands it back to you.
What's wrong with you? You look kind of pale. Is everything okay?
Don't worry about me, Master. It was my turn to do the cleaning. I knew what I was getting into.
What are you talking about?
You don't know anything about your own armor?
I don't think I do. Do I?
Yeah.
I do?
You don't know very much.
Tell me so I know.
Well, you know that your armor requires that to put it on, spikes have to be driven into your flesh, and that it drinks of your blood, and that it talks to you sometimes.
Okay. See, I didn't know that I knew that.
Well, now you do.
I think I'd forgotten that. So that's why I reacted the way I did earlier. If I knew that, I probably would have reacted then more like, it's just normal.
Yeah. That's just kind of how your armor is. I mean, you have magic demon armor. That's kind of how it is.
Cool.
All right then. So you guys then camp out for a week. Nothing terribly unusual happens, I would assume, unless someone wants to tell me something I don't know.
I probably swim almost every day.
Okay.
Which means that Kawa has more opportunities for romping.
Oh, you better believe she follows you everywhere.
Yeah, and
You're also used to that.
Megane, it's hard to tell whether she's following Akai Heavy like a lost puppy, or if she's following Kawa like a lost puppy.
Maybe
but
both.
one or the other is definitely happening. She turns out to be definitely very gifted as a musician. At night, she'll tell stories or sing songs to entertain the group. So time passes definitely very pleasantly. You finally have gotten a break from the long journey that you've had. Akai Heavy's magic bag of rice ensures that you actually have absolutely no problem when it comes to having enough food. And Ryokuma continues to be a selfish jerk and refuse to share his magical pot with anybody. So you guys don't get super tasty food, but I mean, it's not terrible. Your servants can cook fairly well.
I have the roll of silk.
Oh,
I don't think we had the bag of rice.
I forgot. Wayne changed it. That's right. So you have to go scrounging for food at one point to make sure that you have enough. And by you, I mean your servants, and by scrounging, I mean you made one of them walk all the way to the nearest village and back. And by the time when he comes back, he's got like 2 arrows and a knife sticking out of him, and he's like, "Bandits on the road," and then dies in front of you as he drops the food that he has brought back. Always following his master's commands, regardless of the sacrifices that they demanded of him. So
Sorry, we're laughing at Charles. He always looks like something just scared the crap out of him.
Yep.
Like he's always got his eyes open, wide open, and his mouth kind of clamped shut, and he's like shaking his head a little bit.
Yep.
It's because he doesn't have very strong neck muscles.
I know, it's just funny.
So anyway,
Sorry.
So yeah, you're down one servant, but you brought extras, so.
You brought extras.
They're all meaningless peons anyway. You don't care about the serfs.
Did they wear red shirts?
Yeah, his shirt was red by the time he came back, but you can't tell whether that was because it was dyed that way originally or if it's just his blood from
Oh my god.
several wounds.
Poor guy.
Yeah. But
Do we at least give him a proper burial or whatever? What do they do in Japan? Is it burial, fire?
I think you would bury him. But,
We mummify his body and send it back home.
that's also an option. I mean, it's up to you. Don't ask me what you do with his body. That's your choice.
We immediately have another servant grab the barrel of vinegar. And we have them stuff him into the barrel of vinegar. And then two of the servants have to carry the barrel of vinegar back to our village.
Well, I mean, if we bury him, we kind of have to get off of the mountain dragon. Where's my husband buried? Oh, somewhere on the back of the mountain dragon. That'll go over well.
Okay, so you tell me, what are you guys doing with his body?
I think we should just bury it. It's
Okay.
going to be the least negative outcome. I think.
We feed him to the dragon.
Oh my gosh!
Here, we brought you some delicious hamburgers.
It is an offering fit for a dragon lord.
Okay, so you just bury him.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's
So,
what-
does anyone have anything to say at the eulogy?
At the eulogy? No.
At the what?
The eulogy.
Alas, poor servant, for I
Eulogy.
knew him well.
Or not. What was his name again?
His name was Toru.
Who served us honorably? What more could be asked of a servant?
Yeah, one of the other servants, the hunchback, says, Toru's family will miss him mightily, but they will take comfort in knowing that he died in the line of duty, serving his master as any good servant should.
Almost sounded like the monkey from Oz the Great Powerful for a second. It was funny.
Stop getting distracted. Focus on the game.
Yes.
Yeah, Wayne.
Alright.
Okay, so yeah, that happens, and then another week goes by, and it is the night of the full moon. All of you are waiting expectantly, and
With bated breath.
you eventually, as the night wears on and nothing happens, you all kind of start drifting off to sleep, and then in an event that is actually not terribly uncommon these days, you wake up to the sound of a beautiful voice. However, as you rub the sleep from your eyes and slowly drag yourselves out of the tent, you realize, here, I should actually turn the light off real quick. It is nighttime now. Now it's dark. Check that. You realize that the voice is not Megane's voice like you originally thought. It's actually coming from the middle of the lake.
So I go towards the voice.
Okay. Like
Do we have a boat?
I don't
So by this time we would know how deep the water is,
Uh-huh.
right? Because we pretty much swam the whole thing. So do I need to worry about going out there in my armor?
Yes, it is deep enough that if you were to like go in the middle and sink to the bottom, you would definitely drown.
And we don't have a boat.
No, you do not.
Just
Okay.
scream.
So I'm going to strip my clothes off like I did before when I swam, and I'm going to swim out there.
So, 5 hours later.
Before you do that, everybody go ahead and make me a will save.
It's going to take me 5 hours.
No, it takes you 5 hours to get your armor off.
Oh.
Well, actually, I think donning heavy armor like he has takes... I forget whether it's 1 hour or 3 hours, but it's somewhere in there.
My will is really strong.
Will is just a d20 plus the will check thing, right?
Yes.
Boing, 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 boing. Boing, boing, boing. Boing, 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 boing. Boing, 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 boing.
Dang it!
Slash and then
Dang
R!
it! Dang it!
Slash and then R!
Why do you always want to put it after the R?
I don't know. It makes more sense in my brain.
No, it doesn't.
In her brain,
programming.
you can't say what her brain finds sensible.
Yes, I can
Oops.
say whatever I want.
Wow, Anna,
I
good
guess
job.
that's true.
I
thought you were serious for a second, and then I was like, what? Wait, what?
Yeah, so
You want to be lower?
yeah, anyone who got lower than 20, so Megane and Akai Heavy, are actually like rooted in place by the beauty of the song. The other of you two can act if you want, so just let me know. But the beautiful
Didn't
voice...
Akai Heavy succeeded and Koryo Kumo failed?
that's what I meant.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong, because I do that. I'm wrong.
Okay.
You guys are rooted in place. Ha 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 ha.
So anyway, this is who you see.
Ooh.
Standing in the middle of the lake, and she's singing a song. And the song is about a princess who once lived in these lands, and whose father was a cruel and austere man. He commanded her to never look up, saying that it was a sign of pride, not befitting a woman. It was for this reason that the princess had never seen the sky, the stars, the moon, or the sun. She was forced to walk about with her gaze cast down to the ground at all times. Even still, the princess found some comfort in exploring the lands around her home, especially at night when she would sneak out, taking in the various plants and animals she would meet on her long walks. It was in this manner that one day the princess came upon a lake as she was walking alone one bright moonlit night. As she came to the side of the lake, she saw the reflection of the full moon. It was the first time that she had seen the moon, and she was immediately smitten with his incredible grace and silvery beauty. She was then incredibly surprised when the moon, who had often silently watched her as she walked at night, struck up a conversation with her. Despite blushing wildly at his attentions, the princess managed to keep calm and had a delightful conversation, talking of many things near and far, recent, old, and even some the moon said were still to be. The two of them talked until the moon's reflection was almost out of the lake, and the sun was soon to rise. But before they left, the princess promised the moon that she would return on the next full moon. And so she did, never missing a meeting for several years as the two of them became closer and closer. She asked many times if she could perhaps join the moon, but he told her that the sky was no place for a human. Knowing this to be true, the princess contented herself with her situation as it was. However, as with all things, it was not to last forever. Eventually, the princess's father decided that he wished to create an alliance with one of his rivals in order to defeat another he hated even more. As a part of this, the princess's hand was promised in marriage. The night that the princess learned of this was a full moon, and she went to see him again as soon as she could. She fell upon the banks weeping, and the moon tried to comfort her, but to no avail. She begged him to take her away to live with him, but alas, it was not within his power to do so, and he had to tell her no. Finally, after some time, the princess said that she loved none other than the moon, and that she would be with him one way or another. And with that, she jumped into the deepest part of the lake. Not knowing how to swim, and not struggling regardless, as this was her wish, the princess drowned in the lake as the moon looked on, helpless to save her. So those of you who already failed automatically burst out weeping. Those of you who succeeded get to make one more will check to see whether or not you burst out weeping automatically or if it's left up to you. Or you can just choose to fail.
A fail.
You did.
A fail.
I
Okay,
It makes
succeed.
sense. You have only 2/6 of your heart, so 1/3. You can be able to say that. So you're just like, what? What? I don't get it.
Why is it so sad?
Everybody else is,
Is that how mommy cries?
everybody else is already just weeping as they hear this beautiful song about this princess who loved the moon. And any of you who are not weeping, so Kuryokuma, or not Kuryokuma, Akai Heavy, you can act now, or anyone who is weeping can either continue weeping or act here in just a little bit. It's up to you.
Oh, I kind of want to go out to the middle of the lake.
And what, grab her from underneath the water and be like,
Gotcha!
she's standing on the water.
Just call
In the
her!
middle of the lake.
Okay.
Oh, beautiful maiden! I am here to solve the problem from the night! The darkness dragon! Or better yet, ask her, do you love the darkness dragon? And then you can
Ow.
fix the problem!
Please get your ankle out of my... Ow! Ow! She just dug her heel into my shoulder blade. Ow! That hurt. Still hurts. Ow! Stop it!
He's trying to distract you. What do you do?
I yelled to her.
Ow! 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 Wait, what?
I yelled.
So, hearing
I yelled to her and say, that was a beautiful song.
that was a beautiful song. I feel nothing. I'm dead inside. You had the option to voluntarily fail. You're the ones who rolled it anyway.
I just wanted to know if I'd succeed so that I could decide what to
I'm
do.
just making conversation right now, or
Just
trying
cry,
to.
just cry like you pretend. Everyone else is crying. That means you should be crying. I don't know.
Okay, so,
I yelled to her, that was a beautiful song. You have talent. But
have you considered being a model?
Consider being a model.
Yeah,
I'm
so,
not sure how we can help you with your dilemma.
she hearing the weeping and the shouts of what is definitely a retarded human or a very intelligent ape, one or the other. She walks over to the edge of the lake and says, "Oh, mortals! I didn't notice you there. I hope I didn't bother you with my singing."
No, it was such a beautiful song.
Yes,
It was surely a blessing to be able to hear it from the lips of one such as yourself. I say kicking a Kai Heavy.
You're making me blush. Please don't. I simply come down here at the full moon to sing it. It pleases my father.
Who's your father?
So she points upward at the full moon.
And was the woman in the song your mother?
Oh no,
She was dead.
She died. I thought you would have picked that up from my song. That's sort of how it ended.
You know, supposedly his heart was removed, but we're starting to wonder about the brain.
Well, I didn't know if maybe there was more to the story.
The moon was helpless and watched her drown.
Yeah, but now he has a kid.
That's out of character. Not necessarily with a human. That was also out of character.
Dun, dun, dun. No, unfortunately, this brave princess died, though I feel she must certainly have been better off than the life of ignominy that would have been destined for her otherwise. sometimes the marital traditions of you humans can be rather cruel to one's heart.
Speaking of marriage, we happen to know that you have someone who's longing for you, and we were just wanting to make sure before we did anything that you were also interested.
Oh, perhaps there may be someone.
Scaly, kind of dark, absorbs light.
Certainly dark, but scaly seems like a bit of an exaggeration. Are you speaking of the shadow dragon?
I thought you said he had a scaly nose.
Well, he in his dragon
Do we
form.
know that it's the
Oh. That's right. Dragons turn into people too.
Dragons are people too. Yes, he.
Did you know that? Did you know that he is a dragon lord?
Oh yes, of course. I just called him the shadow dragon.
Damn, I keep being so stupid.
We may not have heard you say that part.
And also, you've been cutting out a little bit for me, at least.
All right. So now that we know she's interested, we can move forward without condemning her to a life with someone she doesn't want to be with.
Oh well, that's rather kind of you. I didn't know that humans were actually so considerate. Normally, you're willing to do whatever it takes to get the job done, regardless of anyone's feelings.
I usually try to worry about people's feelings. It's been a little bit harder of late.
Truly do you know? And how has that been working out for you?
Well, Steve
Rather
just
well, I
died.
suppose. Rather well, I suppose. I mean, lots of people are always jumping up to serve me. So
Yes, ignorance
I
is bliss,
assume-
is it not?
Yeah, I still feel bad for Steve.
Steve? Who's Steve?
Is that the
The guy who died.
Oh, was that wasn't his name?
I can't remember his
I
name.
can't remember his name.
So it was perfectly okay for me to ask who's Steve.
What's the heartless at
At
all?
all.
Toru? His name was Toru.
Yeah, poor Toe dude.
Oh, is that
Toru.
is that the grave over there with the hand poking out the top?
There should not be a hand poking
Oh.
out the top.
His father helped me through the Samurai Academy.
I've been buried alive. And one of the other servants walks up with a large shovel and just hits it. Just BAM! Everything is fine. Continue with your conversation and ignore us, servants. BAM! BAM!
Well, so much for Toe dude.
I think I killed the main character.
Yep.
Yes, we've been in what you could call a long distance relationship.
Yes.
Unfortunately, though, I can only come out in the full moon, but he cannot stand that much light and must hide in the shadows. But we have watched each other from a distance on many an occasion. He's even left messages under rocks for me a couple of times. He seems that he's much more than you might think, despite his outwardly rough exterior. He's actually a rather sad emo boy on the inside.
Well, that makes perfect sense. So why is it that you only come out in the full moon?
Well, as the daughter of the moon, that is the only time that I can visit the Earth. It's no easy feat traveling all the way from the sky.
Well,
So what if you just didn't
what
go
if you didn't go back?
And unfortunately, that's also not an option. I can only exist here on this Earth as long as I am in the full gaze of my father and his bright light.
We need a moon rock.
Moonstone.
As soon as I enter any sort of shade, I just immediately melt away.
What happens if you touch the dragon?
Lord?
They haven't been able to do that yet.
Yes, precisely. You are very observant. Thank you for being here. Woman power.
Why am I so stupid? I've been so stupid today.
So I think what we need to do is make a dragon mummy. Just wrap him up in your silk so that he's completely in shadow but still there.
Do we have anything that can turn celestial beings to mortals?
That's a good point too, but I don't know.
I don't believe so.
I don't think she'd want to be mortal anyway because then they die.
And the Dragon Lord would probably still be alive.
So Megane is in the back. She's just still crying her eyes out. She's just like on the ground at this point, just crying. While the rest of you are still like trying to barter here.
We're not bartering, we're trying to problem solve!
Well,
So
Megane
I'm gonna
is
go
not
over and
helping.
see if I can get Megane out of it.
You're trying to do what?
Like
I'm trying to comfort Megane.
I'm going to pat her on the back and say, there.
It was just so sad and so beautiful. They wanted to be together.
I know. But we're trying to help them figure out how to be together.
I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about the song.
I know, but we have lovers here that we can help now, and that's somebody that's been dead a very long time.
And thus the leader of our group asked God for help.
What?
And thus the leader of our group asks God for help. Please tell me one of the NPCs who's smart enough to solve this problem.
Nah, you guys gotta figure it out on your own.
Well, I'm still consoling her. What happened?
What? Oh,
I'm
about
still
your
consoling her, though.
She's
What
still
happened?
crying. She's still crying.
Okay. I give that up as a lost cause pretty quick.
Yeah. Yeah, Kuryokuma is still like, even though he's trying to play it tough, with a roll of 8, Kuryokuma is also still like misty-eyed and wiping away tears every once in a while, hoping that nobody notices.
The room that looked like humans
had been living in it was probably Dragon Prince's human hanging out with her.
Emo boy.
Anyway,
I've given you all my ideas. You're on your own now.
Did I hear your ideas?
She said to wrap him up in silk like a dragon mummy.
I'm wondering if that story song has something to do with what we need to do.
Do you want me to
Kill
paste
him?
the song into the chat now?
Keep him looking down. He just has to look down, so he can't see the light. Right?
Sounds good to me. Let's go get the dragon.
I'm reading the poem again, or the riddle thingy again.
Well, we already figured out the riddle thing. We found her.
Also,
Now we're supposed to find something from the song.
there's the song.
Blurp.
That's a lot of lyrics.
None of that is lyrics. That's a description of the song.
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.
Okay,
Bum,
so
bum, bum, bum. So, while we tell her not to go anywhere.
Wait, what about a reflection?
Of
I don't know, each other? Do we have like a magic mirror?
mirror, mirror. In this time of desperation, Paula gets out the bell and sees what it does, because she's bored.
Okay. So describe to me what you do. You take out the bell. You take out the little silver hammer.
I sit down cross-legged, waiting for people to start talking again and start trying to play music on it.
Okay, so you're just like, are you like tapping it lightly, heavily?
Both. Because I'm trying to play music on it, so I'm varying the
first
tone.
time that you strike it.
Fairly lightly.
Okay, so as you strike the bell, you suddenly realize that the bell, it gives off a beautiful high-pitched hum. As it vibrates, you can feel it vibrating in your hand. And yet, as that hum goes out, it suddenly occurs to you that it is the only thing that you hear. All else has dropped to complete silence. And then as you look around you, the small ripples and waves on the lake that are stirred up by various eddies and currents have completely frozen. The people around you have ceased to move and are still as if they were posing mannequins. And everything around you, even the waving of the grass in the night's breeze, has ceased. And the humming goes on for about 6 seconds, which I will point out is 1 turn of combat. And then as the humming of the bell, the vibrations slowly fade away, everything returns back to normal.
Nice. I put the bell back in my pocket. And I fish out the gem and the gem book.
Okay. You are holding the gem.
I need gem book, which means Twain has to pull his notes up.
Ask it a question, I'll tell you what color.
So I shake the gem.
Okay,
and
completely unnecessary and does nothing.
I know, but it's a magic 8-ball, so you have to shake it right.
I got what you were doing.
And ask, will it work if we make the dragon a mummy? And yeah.
It turns yellow.
Unlikely.
So we gotta figure out the reflections.
Have you tried talking to your father? I mean, it sounds like if he's been through a bad love
Make it
relationship thing before, maybe he'd be willing to help you figure out a solution.
Unfortunately, he's as stumped as I am. We've tried, but nothing seems to work. He and the Shadow Dragon aren't the best of friends, but they have a congenial relationship.
So really what we're trying to figure out is how to make it so the Shadow Dragon can come out. So what did you figure out?
We also need to have some way for her to remain with the Shadow Dragon, alright?
I think they just want to be together first.
Okay. I haven't figured anything out.
Okay, so go ahead and everybody make me a perception check. Wow, Rebecca did not do well. Rolled a 1.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Anna?
I'm so distracted by the whole bell thing.
Yeah, and Kuriokuma is just like, he's trying to make sure that nobody notices that he's still kind of crying by just like looking down all the time and like really quickly wiping away tears, so he notices absolutely nothing. Akai for once, you're the one who actually notices a thing.
Yay!
In the woods, a ways off, in the shadow of the trees, you see what could only be the Shadow Dragon in his human form. I'm just gonna put him over here. Pretend he's a lot farther away.
I don't see him at all. IRL.
He needs
Oh.
an umbrella.
There?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm to approach him.
Okay.
And I'm going to do the proper bows and all stuff as I approach. And
He says, "Isn't she wonderful? True gem."
yes. Yes, she is.
She sparkles like a diamond. She has the voice of a meadowlark.
Thomas is so good at romantic stuff.
I know, aren't I amazing? Her butt's really big, and I want to smack that. Tell her to go fetch me a sandwich.
So you're just basically the Dragon Lord of Darkness in real life, like all the...
No, because the Dragon Lord of Darkness would be cooler than me, despite the fact that he's a lame, sad emo boy.
Problem solved. Start trying things.
Ow. Okay. So...
Now, anyone who wants to go with a high heavy would have seen him leaving. I'm just pointing that out, Kawa.
Kawa follows.
So we've gotten more of a piece of the puzzle, and we're trying to figure it out for you guys. But I'm rather stumped.
Honestly.
Okay.
Did you just drip beer down there?
No, it exploded in my face.
Well, now you see my problem. The two of us have wished to be together for quite some time now, and yet we're kept apart by cruel fate.
Yeah, fate kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Someone blowing on their mic?
There's a vent near me. Sorry.
It's very loud. Okay. Anyway. You just said yes. Fate is
Have
a
you
cruel
tried?
mistress.
Have you tried wrapping yourself up in a lot of fabric?
Have you tried looking? Have you tried? Go ahead.
You're not over
What?
there, by the way, Kawa. You haven't moved your character yet.
Oh no! Where is my fluffy bunny man? I must find him! Where's my bunny man?
What, you mean wrap myself up like some sort of retarded dragon mummy? Who would have come up with that stupid of an idea?
I glance at Kawa.
At least I'm coming up with
I
ideas,
know!
unlike someone else. Have you tried looking at the ground or keeping your eyes closed?
I can't very well see her or where I'm going with my eyes closed, and as for looking at the ground, that only works for so long. I have the same problem.
Yeah.
I cannot look at her if I am staring at the ground the entire time, and it is rather hard to romance someone you cannot even look at. I'm in love with her, not with her feet.
What about looking at your reflections in the lake?
No, the reflection of the moon would be there just as surely as if I looked into the sky.
Have you tried sunscreen?
It is not as though I'm allergic to the sun. I don't melt, or the moonlight. I don't melt in it.
Has
Is there
everyone
anything
seen,
around the lake?
picture of Emo Dragon?
What?
Anything around the lake?
I
that
asked
we-
if everyone had seen the picture of Emo Dragon.
Yes, I did.
His little icon over here?
Nope, in the chat.
It's the other side, hon.
Oh. Like I said, no, I'm not nearly cool enough. I mean, the emo dragon is lame, but that's just a whole other level.
I thought it was pretty cool.
Your makeup was great. The problem was that weird corpse monster that it was on.
Have we noticed anything around the lake that might be helpful?
Such
Like
as
mirror, something that they can use to kind of block the moonlight, and she can still visit with him
there's
while
plenty of,
looking at each other's reflections in the water. I don't know.
there's plenty of grass and rocks.
Cool.
Okay, so how
Have you
about
both tried jumping into the water? Can she even be underwater?
I don't believe so, though I've never asked her. And neither of us are really fitted for an aquatic life.
Yo, shiny girl.
I will deign to answer to that, I suppose.
Can you go under the water?
They just said they weren't fitted for an aquatic life anyway, you bum!
I could if I wished to. Though not very deep. If I went far enough that the moon's rays no longer reached me, I would immediately cease to exist on this this earth and would not be able to return until the next full moon.
Sorry. Yawning.
Okay, so how about we look at this logically? The problem seems to be not just the moon falling on the shadow dragon. It seems to be something about him seeing it. He doesn't
I
want to
asked
just
him if
have
he
to
could
look.
keep his eyes closed.
Well, he wants to be able to see, and he also wants to be able to see her, so he can't just walk around with his eyes closed, and he can't walk around looking down all the time.
What if
give him a
we
hat.
made some of those? What if we made some of those goggles they use in the Arctic Circle that keep you from getting snowblind?
In moonlight, he would basically just have his eyes closed. He wouldn't be able to see anything.
But she's super duper bright. He'd be able to see her.
She's not that bright.
Oh, okay.
So why doesn't Anna say her thing again?
Why don't we just give him a hat?
I said get him an umbrella! Throw an umbrella at Kai Heavy.
That
Don't
just
know where the
seems too
umbrella came from,
easy.
but I have it.
Here's an umbrella.
I can't embrace her with only one arm. I'm not going to carry a mounted umbrella.
Who has a hat with a bill?
So the hunchback guy comes over and he's got one of those really wide-brimmed straw hats.
Awesome. We are going to put that on the Dragon Lord's head.
Okay.
Somehow
Make sure he doesn't look at the reflection
our
in the lake.
servant Pan is from Mexico, and he has a sombrero.
No,
it's not
one
a
of the
Puts
sombrero.
all the other sombreros to shame.
Haven't you seen those straw hats that Japanese
I
and
was
Chinese
being
peasants wear?
sarcastic.
One of those. Not a sombrero.
I was being a smart aleck.
Yeah, put it on his head, and it immediately turns black and starts letting out black wisps of some sort of whatever he gives off from underneath. It actually
Dark.
looks. It actually what?
I said dark matter.
Nah. It's like I don't know. It's hard to say what it is. Whether it's like some sort of mist or something. And so he kind of looks at you quizzically, and then kind of gets a look like, huh, this might work. And then he gets another look of, why didn't I think of this? This was kind of obvious. And then
To everyone but me.
and then he steps out from the shadows and walks into the sunlight, starting off with a few halting steps and then picking up speed to a dignified stride. And seeing him coming, the moon daughter, also comes out of the lake, and the two of them meet in the middle and embrace, and then turn to you guys and says, "Oh, thank you. You have finally allowed us to be together." Why are you rolling?
Sorry.
See if I cry.
See if you cry. You have You have like a third of a heart. You don't cry.
Well, I rolled a 27, so I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's what. Hence why I rolled. I was seeing if I would cry or not.
So they embrace, and he spins her around, and then he kind of puts one arm over over her shoulder, and they both turn to you, and they say, "Oh, gentle strangers, thank you ever so much for allowing us to finally come together after all of these years."
Excuse me.
I suppose.
Never mind, that was Wayne.
What?
Nothing.
I suppose I should.
What are you blaming me for?
Nothing.
I suppose I should now give you your just and eternal reward. So, as always, Akai Heavy, he kind of gestures toward you, and a piece of your heart appears in midair and floats toward you. You dodge.
I reached out towards it.
Okay.
I see the field, man.
As soon as you
He holds it up, floating above one hand, as you hear da 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 da.
Yep, that's a thing that happens for sure. So it poofs and disappears into your chest, same as all the other times, and you feel slightly less empty inside, almost as if you were exactly halfway back to being normal. And then he says, I wish to also present you with these gifts. And he presents 4 cloaks, which appear very similar to the one that he is now wearing. As a human, he's a pale man with long black hair, and he's wearing a black coat that looks very similar to his kind of skin from his dragon form, where it looks like, it's hard to tell whether it's like a leather or some sort of a felt type material or something like that, but whatever it is, it seems to be absorbing the light around it. He says, if you wear these while in the shadows, you shall be able to disappear entirely, hiding yourselves from your enemies.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
But you can't already practically do that.
And takes her cloak.
You should plug in your headphones.
I know. I figure we're almost done. So.
Yeah. So you now have your cloaks and another piece of your heart. So he asks if there's anything else you wish of him before you go on your way.
Well, first we reject the cloaks 3 times,
Okay.
and then we accept them gratefully.
Okay. You now have 4 shadow skin cloaks that you got and accepted in the correct and polite manner.
Yeah.
That's Kawa's. Kawa just took hers.
And they just shoved it in a bag and was like, as if I needed this.
No, she puts it on and disappears. Nobody ever sees her again.
Can I shake hands with the Dragon Lord?
You want to shake hands with the Dragon Lord?
I suppose I'll bow. I bow and I say, your children will be beautiful.
And smart.
So he just looks at you like, what the fuck are you talking about?
This, Wayne, is why we let you be the angry wall with me normally.
Anything else?
I purely said that just to see what would happen.
Well, now you know.
Yeah, I know.
So something comes flying out of the shadows and hits
Akai Heavy?
Akai Heavy in the head.
And it is a
stick.
Okay.
It's a piece of
Recipes of something.
Ooh.
It's brown and sticky.
It's like mud, but smellier.
It's brown and sticky.
Well, I was saying that because what's brown and
Yep.
sticky? A stick.
Yep,
A stick.
Okay, so ting, it bounces off of your samurai helmet harmlessly, but there is still maniacal giggling coming from the shadows.
I
Draw my sword and say, "There's someone prowling around here. What are you up to? Show yourself."
Is this where you
Must
shoot
have
him?
been my imagination. Put the sword down.
Must have been the wind.
While you're doing that, all of a sudden the sword is gone, and it's not in your grasp anymore.
There must be someone prowling around here.
Okay, Rebecca, will you stop torturing the NPCs? Their logic is very limited. They just do that, and they can't find you because you just walked into a corner for 3 hours. Your stealth skill is at maximum. Nobody can find you. Just put a bucket over his head and steal everything out of his shop. There's no reason to continue torturing
Not even in every city you should be able to deal with this stuff.
No, I
So
was.
the next thing you know, you're lying on the ground, completely naked, thinking, "Wow, I feel so relaxed."
I get up. Start walking around, going, "Must have been the wind."
Yes, because the wind totally just raped you.
Wow. No, none of that really happened.
Well, obviously. Other than the stick. The stick hitting you out of the shadows definitely happened.
I go in the direction of the stick where it came from.
Good job.
Do I see anything?
No, your perception is like -40.
It's not that bad.
Kawa, is that you?
Maybe.
I can hear you.
Maybe.
I start following the
It
sound
might
of your
be.
voice. Can I catch up to her if I'm following your voice?
If she keeps talking, yeah, you can follow her voice.
I'm going to try to pin her.
Okay,
Not very difficult.
yeah, you found a bush that looked vaguely like her. She was actually hiding in a tree above you.
Shiza.
So when you pin the bush,
I
she drops down on
jump.
your back.
I jump on the bush, and it pokes me, and I'm all like, "Ow!" And then you land on
I
me,
land on your back and stab the bush even further into your armor.
and I'm like, "Ow!"
I don't know, you've got armor, you probably just smashed the bush.
And then the armor is just like, yes, more blood.
Shut up, suit.
You should kill
Nobody
them all.
asked you.
They're coming for you. That car was
All the
trouble.
bushes. Ah.
She's going to kill you in your sleep. You should do it first, Akai Hebi. I'm the only one you can trust.
Come on, we both know that's not true.
Are you talking to yourself? Or are you
Kawa
talking to
is
the bush?
awesome and beautiful.
I am awesome and beautiful. Thanks for noticing.
See what you got me into? Oh, shut up.
You should just kill her
Shut
now.
up, you meanie! So I get off and head back to the other group.
You get off.
I don't know, you're wearing armor.
Your face. Your face is priceless. Okay. So, we've helped them.
Yep.
Some playfulness happened.
Is there anything else you want to do before continuing on your journey?
Nope.
Not that I can think of, besides wishing the lovers a fond
Happy
day off.
honeymoon!
Yeah.
Happy being lovers.
Have fun, you lovebirds. Don't do anything I wouldn't do.
I don't know if I would want to do anything you would do.
Dun, dun.
Hey, there's a centipede!
I know, right?
You're on a bridge.
What?
Shut up.
Centipede?
Yeah, the centipede map popped up for a minute.
I accidentally dropped you in the wrong place for a second. Okie day. So, you guys are continuing on your journey. Where are you headed next?
Oh, great and mighty leader, who do you wish to follow next?
Do you want to go sit under a waterfall and freeze your buns off? Crazy Kukuru seems to think that that was a wonderful and pleasant experience that he definitely does not wish on his greatest enemies.
So we have the Lord of Light, the Forest Dragon, and the Ocean Dragon left. We know that for the Ocean Dragon, we need to have some way of getting under the water.
Mm-hmm.
Or surviving under the water.
Which we don't have
yet. The Forest Dragon is closer than we think. And the Dragon of Light is the waterfall part. So, since the Forest Dragon is closer than we think, it was Crazy Kukuru that said that, right?
That's correct.
So it's somewhere near where he was, most likely.
Or it's Tongue Pet Sparrow. No, dragon!
Tongue-cut Sparrow, are you the Forest Dragon?
Are you actually gonna say that?
You almost make me spit beer out on you.
Are you gonna walk up to Tongue-cut Sparrow and be like, "Did you used to be a dragon?"
Now he's gonna come up and go, "Are you a dragon?" He's gotta say his line.
Okay,
Are you a dragon?
So is that actually your plan?
No, I was making Rebecca laugh.
Okay, so I need to know where you're going then.
Where are you going? What are you doing?
Let's go
Meditate under the river.
Okay, so you're headed back there.
And I'll be naked.
Yes.
So you're headed back there, and on your way, you're crossing a bridge, not the same bridge that the river dragon was on, a different bridge under that goes over a large roaring river. And as you get,
It looks exactly the same.
It does. As you get about halfway over, you have another one of your servants kind of in the lead, just in case the thing crumbles. And
as we are making our way across the bridge, I say, you know, after you've crossed a couple of bridges, they all start to look the same.
The hunchback servant, who is the one in the lead carrying all of the kind of heavy things, kind of turns around and goes, "Oh, yes, indeed, master. I've noticed the same thing myself." And as he turns around, he steps on a loose stone, and the entire bridge begins to quiver and shake. Everybody give me a reflex save. Wow.
Whoa, -2?
Yeah, that was for Megane.
Wow, poor Megane.
Well, you have noticed that she's like trips over her own feet and just is generally a bit of a klutz.
Yeah. You know what would have been funny?
Reflex.
I don't know what was going on. My
Reflex
headphones
save.
died. All I saw was Wayne's will save.
No, Wayne made a reflex save.
No, I made a will earlier. She saw that.
That was the last.
Her headphones died, so. But yeah, just do the...
Yeah, that makes a big difference between 13 and 33. So Wayne, you got an 18, Megane got a -2, Anna got a 20, and Rebecca got a 33. So anyone who got less than 20 is falling into the river. So,
Shit!
So...
I yell as I fall into the water.
Yes, the bridge is starting to fall apart. Those of you who rolled
One of the
higher than
servants
20,
stepped on a rock, and the rock fell through, and the bridge is collapsing.
I'm good.
You cut out, Rebecca. I couldn't hear what you said.
I want to
Okay, I'm assuming you said you wanted to jump. You still cut out, but I'm guessing that's what you
She
said.
wants to jump in and save Megane.
Okay.
I want to enter.
Sorry, you said you want to enter into Megane?
Yeah, Rebecca, you're cutting out a lot.
Water.
You're cutting out a lot for some reason. Her headphones died, and she has them plugged in. I don't know if that's why. Make sure that your internet is still on the hotspot.
Okay, so Anna, what are you doing? With as high of a roll as you have, you can get off of the bridge on either side if you want to.
Probably be a good idea so that someone's on shore.
Okay, so you're just going over here.
Yeah.
Okay, I will point out that this is a fast-moving lake. The people who are in the water are quickly going to be washed away.
Can I get my rope out while I'm running?
You can, but it won't do you any good.
Okay, well, I guess I'll just jump in after everyone else.
Okay, so who is Kawa saving?
Well, I'm wearing a full suit of armor. Polly, to do a swim check or something?
Okay, well, we'll figure this out next week, hopefully when Rebecca has her microphone. So, now's the two of you dive into the water. You see Akai Hebi and Megane beneath you disappearing under the water, sending up a white foam of bubbles where they once were, and they spell out the words, "To be continued." Da, da, da.
Yeah, Rebecca can hear everything that's being said, but can't be heard, apparently.
Well, I mean, you just relayed to me what she was saying, but that's fine. We needed to
Can
wrap
people
up
hear me
anyway.
now?
Well,
Yeah,
Now we can hear you.
I tried relaying, but I was also relaying, trying to help her problem solve and react in character. So it's kind of spread out,
Okay,
split
cool.
out.
You are.
Anyway, we're gonna continue tomorrow anyway.
Yeah.
You're drowning for a week.
Yes.
I'm drowning for a week.
Yay! All right, so we'll do our usual wrap up. So, what did Akai Hebi learn?
I learned that the servant with all the stuff should not be in front on a bridge.
Well, I mean, if he was behind you, he could still step on the wrong rock.
That's true.
His job being in front was actually so that hopefully he would find it if it was going to collapse under a lot of weight, because you make him carry like 3 times as much as any of the other servants.
I learned that we should make that servant divvy out his weight.
Okay.
I don't know.
What did Kuryokumo learn? Kuryokumo learned that he hates this game and it's boring.
Oh, wait, sorry, that was me.
Yeah!
I keep getting names mixed up. Kuryo Kurmo learned that nobody in this group is all good at riddles.
At least I was trying.
You were.
No one else was even guessing.
Yeah, Kawa did
I
pretty
was
good. She was like,
guessing.
hey.
Until right at the end, then Anna helped.
Yeah, Kawa
I was
actually-
guessing throughout the whole thing. People were just ignoring me.
Well,
That's right.
make your presence known then, instead of talking behind somebody else and then never speaking again.
I was trying to.
You say that.
So Kuryo Kuma learned that he needs to speak up faster or louder.
Kuryo Kurmo also learned that he's not the supposed to be a smart one.
Yep. Neither is Kawa, and yet here we are. Okay, what did Kawa learn?
That people of the moon are sad.
Aw, it's so sad.
Will you stop that?
I'm sorry.
Not you.
Me.
And Megane learned that Hala is really good at knowing what the phase of the moon is, and that she should not even bother trying to impress people with her knowledge in that area.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So thanks everybody for joining me for our session today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.